everyone, and welcome to the Stay-at-Home Baker. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to make an English trifle. So for this recipe, we're going to be making 3 layers. The bottom layer will have jello, cake, and fruit. The middle layer will have custard, and then the top layer will be whipped cream. So for the first layer, we're going to need a trifle bowl, or if you don't have a trifle bowl, a nice glass bowl. We're going to use lady fingers. I bought these at the store. I bought 24 and I think this is a little too many. I haven't made this trifle in a while. We're going to need some sliced fresh strawberries, sliced bananas, and a large package of jello prepared according to the package directions. And this is the 8 serving size of jello. So let's begin. Let's start arranging our lady fingers. Now I want this to look pretty, so I'm going to arrange some of these around the outside to make it look nice. Now I haven't made this trifle in a while, so I'm not really sure about amounts of fruit. So normally I kind of just eyeball it, so we'll see how it goes. Next I'll add some strawberries. And some sliced bananas. So it looks like I used about a cup of strawberries and probably about 1 banana. I'm going to make this look pretty too. So I'm going to put some of the fruit around the outside so that it will show. I'm just putting a slice in between the lady fingers. I'm alternating with a banana and a strawberry. So we're ready for the jello. So we're just going to pour this on. And when you make this dessert, it's going to take a while for the layers to set. The jello is probably going to take a couple hours to fully set. And then the custard will take time to set too. So if you make this recipe, just make sure you allow enough time for the different layers to set. So we're going to put this in the fridge, and we're going to come back later and we'll make the custard layer. Now as our trifle is setting in the fridge, we're going to work on the custard. So for the custard, we'll need a small saucepan, 3 eggs, 7 tablespoons of cornstarch, 4 cups of milk, a half a cup of sugar, and 1½ teaspoons of vanilla. So what we're going to do is we're going to whisk the eggs and the cornstarch and the milk in the saucepan. And we're going to whisk them together till they're smooth. And once they're smoothly mixed together, we're going to take it over to the cooktop and heat it up. So we'll just whisk these together till they're smooth. And make sure the eggs are whisked completely too. So let's go over to the cooktop now and we'll start heating this up. So we're going to heat this on the stove on a medium heat, and we haven't added the sugar yet. And the reason for that is the sugar will stick to the bottom and will burn. So what we're going to do is we're going to heat this till it comes to a very gentle boil, until it thickens. Then we're going to take it off the heat and we're going to add the sugar to it and continue to whisk it. So I've had this on the cooktop and I've whisked it continually because this helps the pudding to not, or the custard to not clump. So it's thickened up now. So I'm going to take this off the heat and I'm going to add the sugar. So let's go ahead and add the sugar. And we're going to continue to whisk until it's all mixed together smoothly. And once it's smooth, I'm going to transfer it to a heat-proof bowl because this is going to need to cool down a little bit. We don't want it to be completely cold. We don't want the custard to set completely, but we do want it to be cooled down enough so that we can pour it over the Jell-O layer of the trifle. And I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. And we'll just whisk that in real quick. And while the custard is cooling down, I'm also going to put my mixing bowl and my whisk in the refrigerator so that I can have that ready for the whipped cream. We want the mixing bowl and the whisk to be very, very cold when we make our whipped cream. That's going to make the whipped cream really light and fluffy. So I will do that at the same time. So we just transfer this to a bowl and then I'll put this in the fridge to cool down. With custard, it can get a skin on the top, which some people don't like. So if you prefer to not have the skin form on the top, you can take a piece of plastic wrap and lay it directly on the top. But for the trifle, I've never had a problem. We're going to be pouring the custard over the top, so I usually don't cover it. So we'll put this in the fridge. So our Jell-O part of the trifle is completely set. So now let's add the custard. The custard is still a little bit warm, which is good. We don't want it to set up completely because we're going to be pouring it over the top of the Jell-O. And just spread it out a little bit. And this will go back into the fridge because this needs to be completely cooled and set before we add the whipped cream layer. So this is going to go back in the fridge. So let's start on the whipped cream. We're going to use 2 cups of heavy cream or heavy whipping cream and 2/3 of a cup of powdered sugar. And I'm pouring this into my mixing bowl that's been completely chilled. And we're going to start off on a slow speed so that the cream doesn't splatter all over the place. And then we'll gradually work up to a higher speed. So let's go over to the mixer. So let's start slow and then we'll gradually work up to a higher speed. cream is done. So the trifle has come together really well so far. I'm very happy with how it looks. So let's add some whipped cream. So I'm going to fill this with whipped cream and just slightly round the top a little bit, because the final touch is going to be, I'm going to add some sliced almonds on the top to garnish it. So that will be the last step. Just a little bit more. You want a little bit of a rounded shape on the top. I'm just going to use a paper towel to clean up the outside. And now I'll get the almonds. So the final step is to add the almonds. These are raw sliced almonds that I'm going to use. So I'm going to use them to decorate the top of the trifle. And this part is the part that kind of takes a little time. But since I think the results are so pretty, I think it's worth it. So I've started in the middle and I'm working my way out. So I'm just about done putting the almonds on the top. If you would like, you can simply sprinkle the top with almonds if you don't want to go through all this work, or fresh fruit looks really good on top as well. But the trifle is done. It looks gorgeous. I hope you enjoyed the show today. Enjoy.